All right, today we're going to talk about one of the most incredible comeback stories in the natural world. It's about how bringing back just one animal, the gray wolf, completely rewired an entire landscape. Seriously, it's a story that has it all. A little bit of fear, a whole lot of science, and the mind-blowing power of a single predator. So the wolf, it's always had this kind of double life in our minds, right? On one hand, you've got the big bad wolf from all the fairy tales, this symbol of pure, wild danger. But then, on the other hand, scientists see the wolf as this essential builder, an architect of a healthy world. So what's the real story? Is it a villain or a hero? Well, as you're about to see, the truth is way, way cooler than that. Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into the science behind the wolf's reputation. Then, we'll take a look at what happens when they disappear from an ecosystem. Spoiler, it's not good. After that, we'll cover their big comeback. And finally, we'll get to the most amazing part, the unbelievable ripple effect that changed everything. All right, first things first. To really get what's going on here, we've got to push past all the old stories and look at what the wolf actually does in nature. What is its job, really? And that job has a name. It's an apex predator. That's the key here. Think of it as the CEO of the food chain. There's nothing that hunts it. Its whole purpose is to manage the populations of the animals below it, making sure no single group gets out of control. It's a living, breathing balancing act. So what happens if you just take that balancing force away? Well, the whole system starts to fall apart. It really is like yanking the conductor out of an orchestra. All of a sudden, you just have noise. And believe me, there is no better or more famous example of this than what happened in Yellowstone National Park. Yeah, for almost a century, Yellowstone was basically that orchestra with no one in charge. It was a beautiful, sprawling ecosystem with a giant wolf-shaped hole right in the middle of it. The park was missing its most important manager. You see, by the 1920s, wolves had been completely wiped out from the park. Hunted, trapped, gone. And at the time, people thought this was a huge win, right? It made the area safer for people and for other animals like elk and deer. But oh man, nobody could have predicted the massive domino effect that was about to start. With the wolves gone, guess what happened? The elk population absolutely exploded. I mean, why wouldn't it? Their number one predator was gone. The park basically became a 24/7 all-you-can-eat buffet, and the elk could just multiply and eat wherever and whenever they pleased. And that's where the real trouble began. This massive elk herd started, well, eating the park to death. They just camped out in the easy spots like the valleys and riverbanks and chewed all the young trees, the willows, the aspens, right down to the ground. And when those plants disappear, the very land itself starts to degrade and erode. But then, after watching this slow-motion disaster for decades, a group of scientists decided it was time for a Hail Mary, something truly radical. It was time to bring the conductor back to the orchestra. The year is 1995, and the plan? It's a bold one, a controversial one, a huge ecological experiment, really. The big question was, could they actually reverse the damage? So they did it. They brought a few wolf packs down from Canada and set them loose in Yellowstone. And what happened? Well, the impact was almost immediate. The wolves got right to work, doing what wolves have always done. They started hunting elk. Okay, but listen, this is the really critical part. It wasn't just about the number of elk they hunted. The much bigger deal was how the wolves changed the way the elk behaved. All of a sudden, the elk couldn't just hang out in the open valleys anymore. That was dangerous. So they started moving around, staying out of harm's way. The wolves brought back a healthy dose of fear, and that changed everything. And that change in elk behavior, well, that's what triggers the final and, frankly, the most mind-blowing chapter of this story. This is where a simple change spirals out and transforms, literally, the entire park. So think about it. The elk are now scared to hang out by the rivers. What do you think happens next? The answer? Well, it's just incredible. The chain reaction was just amazing. Step 1, the elk move away from the rivers. Step 2, because of that, the trees on the riverbanks, the willows and aspens, they finally get a chance to grow tall. And guess who loves those trees? Beavers. So the beavers come back. And what did beavers do? They build dams. Those dams create ponds and marshes, which then become brand new homes for fish, for songbirds, for frogs, you name it. The whole system just came roaring back to life. And this whole incredible phenomenon, there's a name for it. It's called a trophic cascade. That's the cool science term for exactly what we just described. When you make a change at the very top of the food chain and the effects cascade all the way down, totally reshaping everything. I mean, just let that sink in for a minute. The wolves' presence led to more trees. Those trees had stronger roots, which held the riverbanks together and stopped them from washing away. This meant the rivers themselves actually changed course. They became more fixed, their channels deepened. The wolves didn't just change the animals, they literally changed the physical geography of the park. Now, it's super important to be clear. This isn't some simple fairy tale with a perfect happy ending for everyone. If you're a rancher living next to the park, a wolf isn't an ecological hero. It's a direct threat to your animals and your income. And that's the complicated truth, right? Living with apex predators is complex, and there are very real, very valid perspectives on all sides of the issue. Still, what happened in Yellowstone teaches us such a powerful lesson. At the end of the day, saving the wolf wasn't just about saving the wolf. It was about saving that entire, tangled, beautiful web of life, a web that, let's be honest, we're a part of too. So if just one species can have that much of an impact, if it can literally change the course of rivers, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other connections have we missed? And what does it teach us about the importance of every single piece in this giant, incredible puzzle of life?